You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
You seem to still be up there somewhere.
Maybe I am. There are flying saucers.
Supposing there are Martians or something in there.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Weird Wednesday. I'm itsasherz, and this is
Giallo Julian.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show this week. I'm so excited to let people listen to you, and because I've been having a great time listening to you in our conversations and stuff like that. That sounds kind of weird. I'm not outside your house in the bushes or anything, or maybe I am. But yeah, thank you for coming on and filling the spot this week. Maybe potentially in the future, everybody give Julian hell because he is auditioning today for the show. And I want to make this as weird and as awkward as I possibly can for him to see if he can stand the pressure.
Trial by fire. See if I can make it through.
It's a lot easier than you think. It's so easy. Are you even wearing pants right now? Because I'm not.
I plead the fifth on that.
That's fair.
The answer is no.
Oh, okay. Anyway, getting on to the regular format here. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was pretty good. So, for my weekend, I do this thing with my friend. I would call him Black Vest. He actually works on my website. He does some reviews on zombie media. And every other weekend, we get together and we choose like 3 zombie films of a similar theme, and then we watch them, and then we choose a winner. So this time, it's a little fun thing we do, something just to kill time.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, so there's 3 films. And the theme for this night was, do Deadites count? Because me and him have this argument of whether or not Deadites from Evil Dead count as zombies. He says no, I say kinda.
Yeah,
so it really depends. And so there was 3 films that were blatantly just ripping off Evil Dead. And the first one was called Evil Night, which is this Italian film. And it was like some film student's ode to Quentin Tarantino, complete with the director playing the main character, who was just Seth Gecko from Dusk Till Dawn, except not as good.
Okay.
And they tried doing it, like the first half is like, there's like a courtroom drama or something, but then like a bunch of like just these criminals going and robbing places, and then like the second half, the literal Book of the Dead shows up, like straight from Evil Dead 2. Wow. It's just like it, except cheaper. And people start getting possessed, and it's like it sounds more interesting than I'm making it. It's very boring because I don't know, they didn't have enough budget for it or something. The characters just weren't great. I couldn't tell the acting was good because I don't speak Italian, but I mean, they seemed to be having a good time, but overall just kind of lackluster. And then after that, we watched a Swedish film called Wither, which was a little bit better.
Okay.
As essentially a bunch of teenagers get together at an old house in the middle of nowhere, and then people start getting possessed by otherworldly demons and being turned into zombie-like creatures, and then they had to kill them. And it was the effects were pretty good. Like the gore, I'm a big gore guy, so I appreciate some good gore. That can save a movie for me. It was fine, like nothing spectacular, but if you need something just to put on the background and work, and you don't mind, unless you speak Swedish or you don't mind having subtitles, then it's not too shabby. But the winner was one I actually bought on Blu-ray a couple of years back, and it's called, what's it called? Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell.
Okay, that sounds fantastic.
It's a Japanese movie, and it's literally just Japanese Evil Dead. So, what it's about is this. It took like 20 years to make, by the way. Like, he filmed it all in like 95, like sometime in the 90s, and he didn't finish editing it until like 2010. So
Wow.
it took a while, and it's on film and stuff. But basically, it's about this bodybuilder who goes with like his ex-girlfriend, this medium, to like this house that his dad used to own. And it turns out there's a ghost in there, and the ghost possesses the medium and starts trying to kill the ex-girlfriend and the bodybuilder. And it's very zany, very, very much Evil Dead 2. The gore in it is like cheap but charming. There's a lot of fun twists in there. A lot of fun and gags in there. Like, I don't know if this would have worked in Evil Dead, but one of the people get possessed, and their solution for getting him unpossessed was to literally suck the evil out from the wound and spit it out.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
I could see why people could think that works.
Yeah, you don't know until you try, right? But it's only an hour long too. Like, it's not that long, so it's on Tubi. You can go check it out. It's a fun time if you need to kill an afternoon. It was just like, it's really quick. It gets to where it needs to go. For the amount of money it had, which I'm assuming is next to zero, it does a lot with little. And yeah, no, that was my Saturday. But I did also watch a more recent movie. Well, actually, it's like, I think it came out this year, called Strange Harvest. Have you heard of that one?
I have not.
So it's made by the guy who made Grave Encounters, I want to say. That old ghost movie from back in like 2009, something around there. I don't know.
You say the old ghost movie, and then you're like from 2009.
Listen, I feel old. That's old enough for me. Like, listen, time is a construct. It's fake. No one. Time's not real.
That's true.
Old, new. What is it? No. I'm going on a tangent, trying to cover up.
You said what you said. It's recorded. I mean,
I know, right? Now everyone knows.
Gotta own it.
He thinks 2009 is old. But no, it's this movie. It's a documentary style movie, more like kind of like Lake Mungo or Savage Land or something like that. And it's about like these interviews with these cops who are after this serial killer who is killing people in ritualistic manners involving an eldritch god. And it's very much like a serial killer movie / Lovecraftian cosmic horror type of movie. And it's really good and really interesting, and I actually think it's one of the best movies I've seen this year.
I'm gonna have to check. That sounds right up my alley. So.
Oh yeah, no, I think you would really like it. Again, if they do really good job at just making it seem real, or making it seem plausible. There are some parts where I'm like, that kind of takes me out a little bit, but overall, it's like just a very interesting. It kept me engaged the entire time, like unraveling the story, answering these questions only leads to more questions. You learn more about like this. You don't learn a lot about what the hell this guy's doing, but what you do learn is very fascinating, and it feels like a Lovecraft story written by like fucking what's his name, Robert Bloch or something. The guy wrote Psycho or something like that,
Yeah,
or Thomas Harris even.
Very cool. Wow. Sounds like you had a very fun weekend.
Oh yeah, no, I watch a lot of movies on my weekends because it's my time off, so I gotta make up for lost time.
I feel that. It's so tough getting them in. I watched 2 this weekend, and I felt powerful. I felt very empowered by being able to watch 2 movies on the weekends.
I mean, hey, that's a lot of afforded time you just gave to these movies.
No, it really is. And my God, just sitting down to decide on a movie is like a whole movie time in and of itself.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's like the first hour of me watching a movie. It's just going through my Tubi list and being overwhelmed and not knowing what to pick.
Right. You're like, but then as soon as you see it, you're like, oh, that's the one.
Oh, yes. You're like, perfect.
So getting into, I attempted to watch, and this isn't part of my 2 movies, but I did attempt to watch Until Dawn, and that didn't go well. I'm just not enjoying it. I understand that they took the Wendigo aspect out of the story. At least that's what people were saying. And I was like, well, maybe I can get over that and just watch it. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I'm like, I can't. It's too distracting. It was too much talking and too boring. And I turned it off.
I could go on for hours about Until Dawn because I love the game. I saw the movie in theaters, and I can give you all of my grievances about that sometime.
Good. Then it sounds like to me I made the right choice by turning it off. Oh, yeah.
So, there's better ways. But again, that's a good background movie. Yeah, if you just need something in the background and don't care about what the hell's on screen, then sure, but not something you should like invest your attention to, I feel.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. And then I watched another one that a lot of people are talking about right now that was Weapons.
Oh, saw that twice in theaters.
I did see that. So I will say the biggest thing for me, I have really bad ADHD, and so it's hard for me to get into a movie to begin with. Mm-hmm. So I can't just pick up any movie and be like, okay, I'm going to watch this because I will turn it off. I'll be like, I can't. My brain just cannot. It's not interested. This was one of those movies where I didn't look at my phone once. I was engaged. I wanted to watch the whole thing. Did I like it? Yes and no. I mean, because the movie does have, which is kind of topical for the world right now, but it does have other things going on with it, right? It is a political movie, really, about gun violence and mass shootings.
Oh, for sure.
Which I didn't care to deep dive into so much, even though I share the same views as, the director and that stance. I just didn't care. I mean, it was good just being what it was, Oh, yeah. And I was okay with that. And I felt, satisfied. But yeah, it was just fine. Check that out. It is strange, but it's different. It's different.
Oh, yeah. I think it was a really good interpretation of what it is, like what it happens, what it turns out to be. I think it's a good modern reinterpretation of what it is. I don't want to give away the twist or anything about what's going on, but I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I can see this as what it's based on. Like there's like a modern day retelling of that. Yeah,
and yeah, I know, I get what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, okay, cool. I don't know if I'm being too vague. I will say I'm excited for his Resident Evil film because there's a scene in Weapons where I'm like, oh my god, he totally gets what a zombie film is going to look like. Ooh, so I'm looking forward to that. So.
Very interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I was a big fan of the Naruto run that they were all doing, but that was an interesting, to me it felt like at this point, like you did that shit on purpose. You put that in there for comedic relief.
Oh yeah, I think the film is supposed to be somewhat of a dark comedy. It is made by one of the whitest kids you know. So.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, you really did that. But I can forgive it because it was interesting. And granted, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't like, oh, what a big twist. Like, I knew right away what was going on. I'm like, I know here.
This all checks out. I've seen this before.
Right. But still, good movie. Check it out. And then I also watched, this one's got, I've heard some really mixed reviews, but I also finally watched The Monkey.
Oh, man, I forgot The Monkey came out this year. I watched that when it first came out. What'd you think of it?
It was another one where, again, I was pretty engaged the whole time. I was okay sitting and watching it, but by the time I got to the end, I was like, it was good at first. And then I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I was really enjoying, there was too much story with them as kids. Mm-hmm. For people that don't know, it's, an adult man, technically two adult men kind of sharing their story with this toy monkey thing that they have. Mm-hmm. And, but it was a lot of story about them as kids, and then it cuts to them as adults, and I was enjoying them as kids. And then when it was adult time, I was like, oh, I don't like whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah, it's kind of jarring because you're right. Because you spend so much time with them as kids, you think that's going to be like the entire movie, you think it was going to go like
slowly growing up. Yeah,
it's like, oh, here's them as kids, here's them as teenagers, here's them with their first marriages, here's them now, and it's like, but no, it's just kind of hard cuts to modern day with them.
Yeah, and it's an entirely different story at that point, and it's like, okay, So they could have done better, but I was decently entertained. I watched the entire thing. Good. I think it was a nice 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I think a nice 4 out of 10. There you go.
Solid 4.
That's the most positive 4 out of 10 I ever heard. That was pretty all right. 4 out of 10.
Yep.
Below average. Honestly, obviously I forgot it came out this year, so it didn't really stick with me too much this year. It's interesting because Osgood Perkins is one of the guy who directed it, who is the son of Anthony Perkins, Psycho, the guy who played Psycho. He's directing these films because he directed Longlegs, he directed The Monkey, and he's directing another one coming out, but I forgot the name of it. And it's interesting because he does have a unique style to his directing.
Yeah.
And I find it very fascinating.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly care for Longlegs. I didn't particularly care for The Monkey, but I do think eventually he's going to make a movie I'm really going to like. It just hasn't come out yet.
You know, I'm right there with you. Well, I haven't watched Longlegs, so I think that this is the first movie I've watched of his. But I would watch more stuff that he comes out with, you know, and just kind of see, you know, where it goes. I think Longlegs is just not really like the premise just isn't interesting to me. So I'm just like, you know,
it's like
good.
Longlegs is an interesting case because you think all the trailers and stuff make it seem like it's one thing, and then when you go watch it, it's actually something else. And
well, he needs to stop. I mean, sometimes these directors need to stop. They need to stop trying to force a twist. It's like,
stop trying to trick me.
Right? Like it doesn't have to. Like when it works, it's great. But like when you see it coming, you're like, well, just like I said in Weapons, like I said, there was no surprise. I was okay with it because I enjoyed it so much that it was all right. But you know, when you're trying to force it, and I felt like he did that in The Monkey, and it's like, you know, it fell flat. It was like, missed the mark there, bud.
I think what the difference is that Weapons is based on a mystery. Like you're going in there expecting a twist and being like, hey, there's a mystery here.
Yes.
Something's going on.
Yes.
You're going to find out something. While The Monkey is like, hey, there's a monkey that is involved with killing people.
Right.
And it just kind of,
right.
You know, the twist just kind of comes out of nowhere.
You already know what to expect, so that's what you want to get. And I wanted to get more of it. The deaths were great.
Oh yeah,
because they're kind of like Final Destination type deaths, right? And that was fun.
They were so ridiculous, and it was done on purpose. He sat there like, I try to make these deaths as ridiculous as possible, which is why, a little bit of a spoiler, when that one person dies in the water, they immediately explode.
Right. I love that, yeah.
I was like, whoa! But, yeah, no. Fun fact, Osgood Perkins, the first time I ever saw him, and I thought he wanted to go see Longlegs. I'm like, Osgood Perkins, that sounds familiar. Turns out he plays the bad guy in a little movie called Dead and Breakfast. Ever heard of it?
I have.
Yeah, he plays the bad guy in that. The one that gets possessed. That's Osgood Perkins.
I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah, I know. Because I saw him, because he always cameos in his films, and I saw him. I'm like, that guy. I know that guy. He's from the hit film Dead and Breakfast. I have.
Yeah, check that one out. That's a good movie.
Yeah. Dead and Breakfast is great. I watch that at least every 1 or 2 years because it is such a creative and fun film, and I'm sad it never got a sequel.
That's a good one. Check. Like I said, probably most people have not watched it. Probably most people that listen to the show have seen it, though.
Well, I mean, it's one of Jeffrey Dean Morgan's first movies. Yeah. You have to go watch it. Yeah. Like, he shows up as the sheriff, and he's like a main character, and it's like, oh my god, it's fucking Negan. Oh, it's Negan.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm allowed the curse on here, so I apologize.
No, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I thought you listened to the show before, Julian.
I did listen, so I don't remember. So I don't want to be disrespectful. I want to be fucking respectful. All right.
You would be disrespectful if you didn't cuss on this show.
Oh,
that would piss me off. All right.
Now I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be like, gee golly gosh. That darn Mothman.
I mean, I'm also a goofball, so I might really dig that too. So.
They said there's like no winning. I'm always going to be on your good side.
Well, speaking of Mothman, it's a good thing you brought him up. I'm going to see him this weekend, I hope.
That's right.
At the Mothman Festival in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And I'm not just going to be there, you guys. You've heard me talk for years now about me attending this festival every single year. I'm not just attending this year. I am speaking at noon on Saturday. You can come.
Moving on up.
Listen to me talk. I know it's about damn time. I know that's what everybody's thinking.
That's what I was thinking.
I know, but here it is. It's finally happening. Come out, obviously support the festival, support everybody involved, have a good time, come meet me, come take a picture with me. Ask to take a picture with me because I'm not going to ask to take a picture with you. That'd be weird.
That would be a power move, though.
Maybe I will just, every person that comes up, like, you want to take a picture with me?
Yeah, just be like, hey, picture, let's do it.
Steve-O does that. When he does his stand-up comedy, he does. At the end of the show, he has everybody come and take a selfie with him. It's crazy.
Does it work out for him? The people are like, oh, yeah.
It's like a 2-hour line, so yeah, it must.
I mean, like, shoot. You know what?
In it.
He's on to something.
Yeah, I was there, and I bought his book just because I stood in the fucking line for so long. I was like, I'm taking this book with me.
I'm not leaving here with nothing.
So, I mean, that might work. But no, definitely, come approach me. You guys already heard Cassie last week on the show talk about the awesome things that she's bringing literally to the table at the Mothman Festival. And come by the Indrid Cold book. I mean, that's what you're there to listen to me talk about. It will be there with me. I will sign it for you. I told you guys last week, I'll lick it if you want. And then you can do whatever weird thing you want with it later on in your own time around not anybody else. So,
does that cost extra, or does that come with the book?
That'll come with the book.
Look at that! What a deal!
Yeah, free licking.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
I dare you to go walk over to fucking Ken Gerhard's table and ask him to lick the book for free. I bet you anything he won't. Bet you.
Yeah, he'll at least charge $1.
At least, at minimum. So, just saying. So that's what I've got going on. I don't have any news this week. Julian, did you have something?
Yes, I do. Please. Well, first I want to give a couple of shout-outs before I do anything else, if you don't mind. So I work for Dread Central. I'm a writer for them, and I specialize in indie horror. And I have a couple of indie horror things happening for you guys that I think you should check out. First of all, David Hartman, who is a really, really good artist, he does a lot of work for like Rob Zombie. He directed Phantasm 5, if anyone ever seen that. He's a really cool dude. He has a Kickstarter for a new graphic novel called Monster Drive-In, Isle of Evil. It's the first volume in a series of just like Grindhouse-style horror stories. Drawn by him, I think written by him. I don't remember off the top of my head, but this one is about a group of party girls and a grizzled seaboat captain go to an island where two warring mad scientists are making monsters and shenanigans ensue. And it looks really good. If you go check out the Kickstarter, there's a couple of pages on there already you can check out, and it's definitely unique. It has a great style to it. Second, there's a short film by Mike. I apologize if I mispronounce your last name, Mike Kusiak, I want to say. Anyways, it's called Knife. If you go on YouTube, Knife. If you go onto my website, actually, giallojulian.com, and on a screen near you tab, you'll find Knife there. And it's a 3-minute short film where it's like a slasher movie, but it's from the point of view of the knife.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's all shot from the knife's point of view of going around and killing somebody, and it's very fun. Like, I think they're trying to make it like a feature film somehow, and I'm really interested in seeing how they're going to do that. So yes. Hopefully they figured that out. And last, if you're in Texas, particularly North Texas, because Texas, I don't know if you guys know this, it takes like 13 hours from Central Texas to get anywhere. So, but if you're in North Texas or just in Texas in general, Troma is doing a tour where Lloyd Kaufman and a bunch of the other guys are going around to different theaters and showing off the Toxic Avenger, Toxic Avenger 2, Toxic Avenger 3, 4, a new one, Shakespeare Shitstorm, and you can go there and meet them. They're doing meet and greets, Q&As, all that kind of fun stuff, and merch and all that. So, if you go back, again, on my website, giallojulian.com, you can go to the events tab, and all the information will be right there for you if you're interested. Plus, a lot more stuff on there. If you're, I'm always trying to add new independent horror projects and media on there for you guys to check out, have interviews and all that kind of fun stuff. So if that interests you, by all means, go check it out. And who knows, you might find something you like.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put the link will be in the description, so you guys can go. You can check that down while you're listening to this episode. It'll still play.
Yeah. There you go. Multitask.
Exactly. Right. There's no excuse not to.
Right. Now you have I have expectations for you guys. You have to do it now. Yeah. But as far as the weird news goes, I got something from AP News, and it's about Australia. So apparently, a senior lawyer. I'm going to go ahead and quote the article. Quote. A senior lawyer in Australia has apologized to a judge for filing submissions in a murder case that included fake quotes and non-existent case judgments generated by artificial intelligence.
Oh, God.
The blunder Yeah. The blunder in the Supreme Court of Victoria State is another in a litany of mishaps AI has caused in the justice systems around the world. Defense lawyer, I apologize if I mispronounced this guy's name, Rishi Navwani, who holds the prestigious legal title of King's Counsel, fancy, took full responsibility for filing incorrect information in submissions in the case of a teenager charged with murder.
Oh my god. How embarrassing.
I mean, like, I'm starting to think that maybe AI doesn't belong in the courtroom. I don't know. Hot take. Maybe I'm crazy. I just think that maybe they should probably stay out of that. Or maybe not have it sort your cases out and just make shit up for you.
Well, the tech pros, I think, disagree with you, Julian. They
just made me up every one of them.
Yeah, so they're gonna be in your DMs like, what would you say that about AI, bro? You're just jealous, bro.
You don't understand. AI is the future or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow, that is, well, I mean, just another reason. It's unfortunate. At my day job, the guy who runs the company gets really close and personal with us. Not sexually, he's a good guy, but he talks to us like real people. And he just kind of mentioned the reality of like, AI is here and it's not gonna go anywhere. So what does that look like for everybody else in their jobs and things like that. And so he was being real honest about some things, which is terrifying. I mean, it's terrifying to a lot of people. And it's like, but if I ask AI a question, like I can't even get a decent result.
Exactly. And apparently I just don't know how to ask the right question. And I feel like if I just Google it, I'll get my answer quicker. Right.
You just Google it, pop the first article you see. Oh, okay, there we go.
Perfect.
Then you can go to the next 5 and they all confirm. And it's like, oh, okay. That's exactly it. And, not just that, it is not good for us. It's not good for our artists. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
It is making us dumber, you guys.
It is.
And
because,
fact.
People aren't researching anymore. They're taking it at face value. Like I saw, have you been watching the new Alien Earth?
I haven't.
Show?
No.
Okay. Well, there's an instance, no spoilers, an instance where there's a bit of information said, and the bit of information is wrong, and we're sitting there thinking like, oh, is it like it was a quote that was attributed to an author, but it was the wrong author, and people are like, oh, is this like some sort of like commentary about this character not being as smart as he thinks he is, similar to like an alien from Alien Covenant when David accidentally said a quote attributed to Lord Byron when it wasn't really. And no, it turns out Noah, was it Haley? You want to say Holly? He did a joke. And I don't know if it was a joke or fact, but he was like, oh yeah, no, the character looked the quote up on ChatGPT and got the wrong answer, and that's why he says that. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, when you're writing this, did you use ChatGPT
to write this?
to like look up who said that quote and didn't fact check it? Because if that's the case, wow, what the hell, man?
Probably. I'm not gonna act like I'm holier than thou. I've used ChatGPT for certain things, for like trying to do time management or creating a meal plan, or it's great for things like that. It really is. And granted, like, yes, I guess I could sit down and write my own time management schedule, or I could sit down and do my own meal planning, but why would I waste time doing that when I could have a computer do it, and then I could waste time doing something else, like anything else, watching a movie, or not just that. You guys know I'm a very busy person, but it's great for that type of thing. It's just that there's no regulation on this at all. And for it to go unchecked is exactly what the fuck every single movie about this is about. And
all these Black Mirror episodes, all these dystopian corporate futures that all these movies show us, and we're just like
these
fucking
novels.
barreling to that.
Right. We're like, cool, sign me up, and so, I mean, not to be, an alarmist or anything, because, yeah, it's half a joke. But in all seriousness, like I said, it is, at minimum, it's making us dumber. And that's an issue, because we're definitely starting to see very large impacts, not of AI quite yet, but just as us, as a society, not doing so well. if the last week has been any type of indicator to anybody whatsoever.
Yeah, it's been rough.
We're just we don't have our shit together right now. Like
Yeah.
we are in total crisis mode. We just shaved all of our hair off. We dyed whatever was left. And the eyebrows, we took those off too. Like, we need to get it together. Okay.
We need a break. We need some self-care right now.
Yes.
We need to we gotta get a hold of ourselves. And AI is not helping.
AI is not helping, right? It's just another issue that we have going on. So anyway, but yeah, no, that's, I think that's a weird enough story. I think that's pretty good. And hopefully, that lawyer learned his lesson, and maybe now they will, again, I hope, create some regulations based off of what they learned.
Oh, given how often this happened already, it's going to take a bit, I think. So, AI is starting to get regulated. Like, there's some concepts of ideas of regulating AI, and now that Warner Brothers has joined the fight because they just sued Midjourney for copyright infringement, we'll see where that goes. So again, my relationship with AI, I've never used ChatGPT. Like, I just never had the need to use it. Like, the most I've used is like auto transcripts, so I can get like a rough transcript to actually do a better transcript of, just have it there so I can have something to look at.
Sure.
But I do think it's a tool. It is a tool. I don't think it's necessarily a tool that should be used in art, like generative AI. Yeah. I think is kind of an issue. Like, AI, as far as like, planners or getting information sorted out quicker and more efficient, sure, why not? But art, I feel like if you're using AI for art, it's not really making art. You're just kind of telling a computer to make a hallucination.
Yeah, pretty much. And, and so far, I mean, we've kind of got things working in our favor. Like, you can't copyright AI arts and things like that. So that helps, it doesn't stop people from making it, but it helps.
Oh yeah, because now they can't not only can, like, if they were to sell it, anybody could sell it. It's not like they have the intellectual property to an AI piece, because there's no way to copyright an AI piece.
Yeah.
In fact, fun story about Strange Harvest. I learned this from hearsay. I'm not sure how true it is, but apparently in its original festival run, they had a bunch of AI images for scenes of like the carnage and stuff like that. And I think that's true, because I read a lot of reviews saying that, oh my god, the scenes with the corpses and stuff look like absolute shit. But at some point, they filmed actual scenes with real people and replaced those AI images with those scenes. So I think what they did was just use those AI images as a placeholder to get it into the film festival sooner. Gotcha. And while they're still making the movie, which I'm like, that's a very interesting way of going about it.
Kind of storyboarding in a way.
Yeah, but I feel like that could backfire, because if people are going to say your movie looks like shit, and if it's not finished, I don't know. It's, you know what? That's like 4D chess, I guess. I just don't get it.
Yeah, well, me neither. But,
AI's here to stay. We just gotta learn to live with it one way or another, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what you use it for.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I mean, like I said, I'm not totally against the concept of using it. I get its usefulness, but that's a slippery slope right now, and hopefully it won't be forever.
Yeah, I just don't think it should be a substitute for the human condition and spirit and creativity.
No, but to be fair, I mean, people also lacked critical thinking. That started declining just with the invention of the internet as a whole. Yeah,
that's true. People just kind of started believing whatever they saw on the internet. That's true, because it was on there.
My mom, me and her had a conversation the other day about, I'm not going to get too big into politics, but about voting. And, what side of the coin she was on, a couple years ago. And how that's changed so much now. And, when I was telling her, I'm like, well, you knew about this, and this, and yet you still voted for that person. And she's like, well, but I didn't know. And then we kind of talked about the concept of how pre-2020, her in her older age, my mom's in her 50s, she wasn't really exposed to the internet as much as she is now. And how really the pandemic, I mean, it took older people and it got them online more, I feel like. And so just it's becoming more accessible. And, because things like that are becoming more accessible, more people are using it. And so it's happening at a quicker and quicker rate that people are becoming, dumber. Whereas, 20 years ago, you only had select people that were on the internet, taking in the dumb. So.
Mm-hmm. Because the internet was a little bit more intimidating to get into as well. It wasn't as easy. You had to do a lot more searching to find what you wanted to need. It was like a wild west of just random crap that's all on there.
Well,
all these angel fire sites.
Oh God, I know, right? And then you spend 2 hours and you find something about what you're talking about, and you're like, I'm just going to take it for face value because
it's like, listen, I'm not gonna. It's going to take me 4 hours to fact check this. No, I'm good.
Right? Somebody keeps trying to call me. I keep getting fucking kicked off.
This is in there like, yep, no, I'm good. Yeah, no. Oh God, I got to restart it again because my sister had to make a phone call.
Yeah, pretty much. So
I'm trying to download a picture. I had 30 minutes left.
Well, speaking of things that are really old, today we're going to be talking about a really, what I find a really fascinating topic. We're going to be talking about freak shows and freaks.
Yes.
And, when I say that, freaks has definitely become more of a derogatory term, right, since these times. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't really find a good substitute to use, in place of what we're talking about. So
I guess you could say sideshow performers, I guess, but that's not necessarily talking about. Yeah, that encompasses a lot more, I guess. But
it's different. Yeah, it's different, but the same.
Yeah.
But basically what we're talking about, in a lot of cases, these are people who have very peculiar physical deformities or people that have extremely special talents. Or they're more akin to professional wrestlers where they are just regular people, but they have created a persona based off of, something else. Entirely based off of a talent or, something that, just being black or colored or whatever.
Literally anything not white or anything like that.
Yeah.
You're up for the freak show.
Yeah. This was a very, definitely a very, a wide group. And there was a time period where, these people were not treated like absolute garbage. They were. So they kind of started off as like, I'm being treated like human garbage and I can't work because I'm severely disabled and there's no social program to help me and I have to do something. So what am I going to do? I'm going to show people that I was born without legs or whatever. And, and then they would have to kind of do that type of demeaning work in order to gain something. But then they hit like a peak in history, and we'll go over all this. This is just a quick summary. They hit a peak in history, and then it started to kind of, slide downward when people kind of started feeling fucking bad for what they were doing. So like finally, these people were making a fucking killing, richer than you or I today. And people are like, maybe we shouldn't do this anymore.
Maybe this is kind of bad. Maybe this is kind of shitty of us.
And then took away the only fucking jobs that they could get. And so it's just, it is all bad, but it's not all bad at the same time.
It's a complicated issue. Yes, they made a lot of money. A certain few of them made a lot of money doing this. However, they were still subjected to abuse and things like that. So it's kind of like a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. It really depends on how you look at it. Yeah. But
and it depends on the performer too. There's so fucking many of them that it's difficult to kind of pick and choose these people to do a whole episode on, because it's just it seems almost endless. But depending on who it is, they have a different set of circumstances, that kind of make up their success or their tragedy. But getting into it, sideshow performances, freak shows started off. They've been around for fucking forever.
Yeah. Since the medieval period, people have been treating these people as like objects of interest and entertainment and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, you look weird, and they have nothing better to do except drink ale and die of the plague. Might as well go look at the weird guy.
And the weird guy is like, I need to be able to eat, so
exactly.
And it's been going on forever. They started off really having, a lot of them, the performances, they would kind of travel around to different local taverns, and they would have like a set spot, like, oh, come see the, this little person, or whatever. There's so many. I don't want to pick on one group of people.
Yeah, exactly. Look at this, not societally normal person, like not someone that we consider normal over here.
Yeah. So I just kind of, I did like a little history. I want to talk about, what I consider a super interesting case and one of the oldest recorded cases, probably not the oldest, but one of them is Lazarus, and I think it's Jonas.
I have a bunch of notes about him too on here.
Perfect.
I actually looked up a little bit of history, so we're both on the same page.
Awesome. Yeah, Lazarus and we're going with Jonas. Lazarus and Jonas, Colorado. They were Italian conjoined twins, and they were around during the very early 1600s. I believe they were born in 1612. So Lazarus was what is known as an autocyte, while Jonas was known as a parasitic twin. Mm-hmm. Jonas only had an upper body and a left leg, and these were protruding out of Lazarus's chest, basically his torso. He could and would sometimes move his body parts. Some people, a part of the act was getting Jonas to react to them, which is gross.
I think they had placed their hand on him and he would move or something like that, which seems kind of invasive. But again,
I don't know how far I don't know how far they would take it. Like, are they hitting him? Are they just touching him? It seemed that Lazarus was actually pretty protective of his brother, and we'll kind of get into that in a moment. Mm-hmm. But Jonas's eyes were closed at all times, and his mouth just hung wide open. And when you look at there's no picture of them, but the drawing of them, it looks very bizarre because Jonas seems like he's kind of upside down because
I saw that picture too, and I think that's accurate if I remember from what I've read.
Right, so he's because he's coming out of the chest, but he can't hold himself up, so he's just kind of flopped over. Mm-hmm. And it is really horrifying looking.
I'm pretty sure that's what Basket Case is based off of.
Well, I was going to talk about Basket Case.
Yeah. Well, hello.
One of my favorite movies.
Hill, he's great.
Exactly. So a parasitic twin is basically they don't, as far as we know now, parasitic twins do not possess the ability to be able to speak, and there so far has not been one that's ever been deemed sentient, conscious. Mm-hmm. And so
a lot of the stuff they do is mostly just reflex, right?
It is
kind of a nerve kind of thing.
Yeah. It's just It's just electrical impulses going through the body, making things happen. They don't usually have a brain at all.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not saying they're stupid like the AI people. I'm just saying literally they don't have brains.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very literal case in this version.
Yeah. Nowadays we don't see a lot of that, except for maybe in third world countries, because they're just so easily removed because their body does not control. Whereas we have other conjoined twins where both of them are very much alive. In this case it has no bearing at all. But a good example of a parasitic twin gone sentient is in the movie Basket Case.
Yes. Which is a fantastic little micro budget independent feature, and that is my second favorite Hill film. I really like Brain Damage, but Basket Case is definitely up there.
Oh, Basket Case is so underrated. Not enough people watch it, but I'll tell you what's really underrated: Basket Case 2.
I've never actually seen Basket Case 2. I know of it. I know what happens in it. I've seen clips, but I never actually sat down and watched it. Is it worth my time?
Oh, absolutely, especially if you're talking about this topic today.
Okay. I know there's a lot more in there. Isn't a lot more characters in there that have different sort of uniqueness.
Yes, it's fucking out there. If you thought the first one was out there, Basket Case 2 just takes that to a whole new level. But it's because you know what you're getting into already with a Basket Case movie, you're fine. You'll like it. So yeah, check that shit out. But no, that was, like I said, technically a parasitic twin having some type of sentience. I don't remember. I haven't watched in a while. I don't think they expected him to have sentience once they were separated, which is
I think he was supposed to die because I remember they both had sentience, and then they were forcibly removed from each other because their parents hired a doctor to do an illegal procedure just to cut the twin off his chest, but then it lived, and somehow they both just hung out together without anybody knowing. I don't know.
And here they are.
Yeah, now they're going around and killing the people that separated them.
Since this was the early 1600s, there really isn't a lot known about like their personal life, but it is said that Lazarus, he had a wife, he had multiple children. When he wasn't entertaining, he would keep Jonas covered with a cloak just to kind of avoid that conversation, right, out in public.
Was like he cared for it, for him rather. Cared for his brother and didn't want him to be ridiculed off the job.
Well, absolutely. And, and it's very easy for people to do that. He made a living off of people doing that. So, but allegedly there's a story that Lazarus actually killed a man for making fun of his brother.
Oh, I did not hear this.
Yes. So Lazarus killed a man for making fun of his brother one time, and he killed him. And he was actually sentenced to death for killing this man. However, the jury, or whatever it was at the time, had a second thought, because here's the thing about it is that if they killed Lazarus, that means Jonas, who is innocent, would also die as well. So he got off scot-free with murder because of this.
Like, you can't kill me, you'll kill an innocent person, and God wouldn't like that. And they're like, shit, you're right, God wouldn't like that. I guess you're free to go.
So I'm just saying, if you ever want to get away with murder, you absolutely can if you're a conjoined twin, is what it sounds like to me.
That's what it sounds like, a get out of jail free card, where it's like, if you put me in prison, you have to put both of us in prison. And that's not fair, is it?
I mean, how would we manage that today? You know what I mean? Like, what?
I guess you have to, like, I don't know, do half and half. Like, sit there, like, all right, you're in jail for half the year and out of jail for the other half of the year. I don't know. That seems like a headache for a lawyer to figure out, or a judge.
I'm sure that this was a concept used not just once, but multiple times in the show Cat Dog.
Yeah, I think there was an episode where that actually happened, where Dog got sent to jail, and it was just like, well, we just made a hole in the wall, so Cat just hangs outside while the dog is inside the cell. And I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's just like, and having his best life, sitting there right outside of the jail or whatever it was.
Yeah, as good of a life as you can have, I guess.
Listen, Cat Dog is my shit. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. That probably explains a lot about me, honestly.
Yep.
Because I go back and watch that show and be like, oh, that is kind of weird, isn't it? Maybe that explains some things about my sense of humor.
I'll tell you, it's a little refreshing having another 90s baby on the show. It's always been me and a bunch of dudes from the 80s, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't know much about
it. Sorry. I was like, I wasn't old enough to watch Transformers when it was new.
Right. Yeah.
No, I grew up with Rocko's Modern Life, Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls, all that shit.
Yeah, so I'm glad I can make a Cat Dog reference and you get it.
I know. Because I was like, I know. Not only do I get it, I know exactly which episode you're talking about.
But a great concept for conjoined twins. Really, it's super interesting how they end up overcoming conflict as a cat and dog together.
Of course.
Very neat. How do they go to the bathroom? We all have that same question. We don't know.
We don't ask. Like, listen. I think it just comes down to you don't want to know. I think that's the answer to all that.
I mean, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but I
No,
definitely.
I know. Right? It's like, no, I want to know every bit about it. I want a dissertation. I want an essay.
I want to watch
I want the scientific results.
Yeah,
I want to see the diagram.
Yeah, right. I want to sit down and have full view, front row tickets and watch it.
I want to take my own notes. Just pretend I'm not here, you tell Cat Dog as you get your glasses and your journal ready.
And some type of catch pan so I could do a specimen.
This episode of Cat Dog got really weird really quick.
But not too weird for that show.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like it could be an episode. Like, this is the time where like Ren and Stimpy was on TV and stuff like that, and there's nothing. There's like adult shows out there that don't go as crazy as Ren and Stimpy did.
Well, and I'm telling you, listen, if they took those '90s shows and they made adult versions today, they would fucking bank. They would laugh all the way to the bank because we would all of us millennials would sit there and watch them. We would.
I know they made an adult version of Ren and Stimpy on MTV back in like the aughts, and that's all I know. I never watched it.
I never watched it either, but I wasn't a big Ren and Stimpy kid. But I was a big. I was other shows.
Yeah, I was more Rocko's Modern Life than Ren and Stimpy, and Rocko was also kind of like that kind of weird-ass humor. That's kind of like gross out.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, they
absurd.
They did that Rocco movie not that long ago.
Yeah, they actually
interesting. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, they included like wasn't like the frog's kid trans or something.
Yeah, the big
yeah, it was very
yeah.
It was interesting how they tackled all that. It was actually kind of refreshing seeing a show from like the '90s tackle such issues like that.
Oh yeah. So
I appreciated it.
I liked it. Anyway, back to freak shows.
Oh right. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about Nickelodeon.
We could do a whole episode just on Nickelodeon alone.
Nickelodeon, each one, bit by bit.
So anyway, freak shows would not really become a commercialized concept until the 19th century, and then for 100 years, would go on to have a spot in just modern pop culture, basically. So what would happen with commercialization is, pretty much you would, instead of just having like one individual that would go around and, freak people out or whatever with themselves, they would all kind of band together in these groups and would showcase themselves in many different ways, traveling circuses. You had P.T. Barnum's American Museum, which we're definitely going to get into.
The 10, was it 10 1 for 10 shows, whatever it is?
10 for 1. 10 for 1.
10 1. Yeah, 10 and 1, where it's like we
can
charge more of a ticket price if we have more than one person here.
Yeah, so I mean, they would come up with interesting concepts to as a group, profit off of themselves, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you did still have some people that were kind of out on their own, or maybe they would travel out on their own and then come back to like their home base. What was really nice about having stuff like P.T. Barnum's American Museum was that it offered these people a chance at stability. They didn't have to travel. People came to see them. Mm-hmm. And while he certainly wasn't the only person who did this, there were definitely more museums and things like that were kind of stable. He was probably the most well-known.
Oh yeah, he's the one that actually, I think maybe not the first, but one of the first. And he was like a salesman. He was like a showman. He really made these shows look much bigger than life. Like, oh God, what am I trying to say? He was really good at advertising is what I'm trying to say. He's really good at showing off and being like, hey, come see this. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. This, and this, and coming up with new ideas to throw in there that no one else... Like, a lot of people copied his ideas for their own shows because he kept coming up with them.
Well, right, exactly. And these freaks, I mean, they would end up becoming straight up celebrities in their own right. Mm-hmm. And they really, like I said, they would live very lavish lifestyles, some of them. I'll kind of get into a couple here that I have, to kind of just show you guys what type of life that they could have. And it's something that even in today's society, they really can't have that. So it was just good for them, good for them for being able to own that. I love when people take something of themselves, and then they utilize it to empower themselves. I've used it before being fat, right? You can call me fat if you want to, I guess, but I think that's wonderful. I'm warm and squishy and great to hold, so
perfect. See, I said in there, that just sounds like jealousy from everybody else.
Exactly, but you can definitely take a negative and turn it into a positive, right? People can't hurt you with that if it is, if you're a fucking that time period's millionaire. Good luck,
If you just accept yourself for who you are and make a shit ton of money, who cares what other people think?
You're like, oh my God, they hurt my feelings, while you pull out your dollar bills to wipe away the tears.
I know, it's like, oh my God, these are wet, I can't use these anymore. Just toss them away. Toss away your pound.
So, but while these freaks would become celebrities in their own right, it didn't make the practice any less exploitative. Oh,
not at all. It was, it's basically just all exploitation. That's pretty much the name of the game as far as this is concerned.
Complete.
There's no other way to go about it.
Complete exploitation. Capitalism, it brings out the worst in all of us. A lot of these people were promoted as unknown species or missing links or mystery races, right? So they would, for example, they would take folks with something like microcephaly, which makes the head look strange and causes, developmental delays and things like that, and would showcase them as, quote, the missing link. Mm-hmm. some people with missing limbs, that would get taken and switched around. So you'd have like a man that had no arms and no legs, and he would be called the Snake Man. Even werewolf syndrome, even though that's what we call it, the condition where you grow hair all over your body, we call it that because people would refer to these people as wolfmen or werewolves or wolf boy or, again, very, very much exploiting people's conditions. Black people definitely got the worst of it.
Oh, yeah. I have a story about P.T. Barnum and his first gig in showmanship that involved a black person.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so his first gig was at age 25. I got this from the article, P.T. Barnum Isn't the Hero of the Greatest Showman Wants You to Think, by Jackie Mansky of Smithsonian Magazine. So basically, his first gig was he found this woman, old black woman, who this acquaintance claimed was like, oh yeah, she's 161 years old, and she is the former nurse of George Washington. Come see her and stuff like that. So P.T. Barnum purchased the right to rent her and exploit her around and show her off to people. So he had to purchase the right to rent her because slavery was outlawed in the North at the time. So he literally just found a way to loophole to get a slave to show off. So that's pretty shitty.
And she was just like a super old woman. He would advertise her as being over 160 years old, but she was only 80.
Yeah, her name was Joyce Heth, I want to say. Yeah.
And he would like take out like bets on, not bets, but he would like sell tickets to the woman's autopsy to prove that she was old as fuck when she died. And it was like,
which is just all kinds of fucked.
Right. It's just terrible. I mean, first of all, I don't think they could have proven that anyway with the what they had at the time.
Yep. That liver looks old. Like, right. What the fuck is that going to do?
They take a bite out of her, and they're like, oh, yep, stale.
It's like, oh, man, yeah, that's kind of sour, isn't it?
How are we going to test that? But he would. I mean, that's the kind of shit that he would do. And so, obviously, like, he knew this woman wasn't that old. He knew that the Snake Man wasn't the Snake Man or whatever.
Yeah. It was all part of the spectacle. He believed in deception. Like, he says he didn't. Like, let me see. I have a quote here he says, let's see. He was fully aware. He says, I don't believe in duping the public, but I believe in first attracting them and then pleasing him, which sounds a lot like he believes in duping the public.
Well, and being in this field for as long as I have, doing a podcast like this for as long as I have and seeing other people around me, I mean, there's definitely people even today that value entertainment over fact-checking. And,
oh, yeah.
The listeners know exactly how I feel about something like that. But, like, obviously that idea is, at minimum, we know it's about 200 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably even older. So, much like AI, it's probably not going to go anywhere, and we should probably regulate it better, but here we are.
Exactly. I mean, to give credit, not credit, but to give, to be fair, it's not like people could really fact check back in like 1850 or whatever anyway. Yeah. So I guess they just have to believe what's been told to them, and they question it. It's not like they can go look it up somewhere to see what the real story is. So, and not that they would want to, because I don't think they want to do stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And with P.T. Barnum, I quoted in here being the quote greatest showman, because let's be real, like that's how a lot of people know P.T. Barnum. People like us, like we're aware of like the monster he was, but a lot of people see the Greatest Showman movie and they're like, oh, what a great, wonderful guy.
He was so nice to all of them. He's practically a saint. He's such a good guy. We're sitting there. I'm like, I mean, listen, I'm not going to get on people for watching a movie. Like, listen, they're watching a movie about a bad guy who is showcased as a good guy. Like, I can't say shit. I watched Tombstone. Wyatt Earp. Piece of shit in real life. Yeah. Doc Holliday, not great, so I can't say anything, and I enjoy that movie. It's just that, recognize that it's fantasy and not fact, I suppose.
Yeah, there's not a lot of movies that are real good with the facts.
It's a fantasy world where what if P.T. Barnum was a good guy? And it's like, oh yeah, what a wonderful world that is. What a wonderful fantasy. I wish it was real.
I mean, I'm not saying that P.T. Barnum never did anything good for anybody.
I mean,
but
even monsters do good things from time to time. Don't get me wrong.
But it's kind of like, a needful things type of situation where, he, or like the bad genie, right? Paradox, where you wish for like a big cock and now you are chained to a giant chicken for the rest of your life.
I was like, poor choice of words.
Right. And you're like, God damn it. Really? I fucking should have known.
I should have brought a fucking lawyer so I can get this wish, like all the shit squared away.
Yeah.
Here, genie.
Yeah. And that's basically what it is. But, honestly, P.T. Barnum probably would. I mean, he wouldn't be quite as big. He wasn't the only person to commercialize freak shows. A huge influence in that people do not give credit to enough is Charles Sherwood Stratton, or better known as General Tom Thumb.
Oh, yeah. I have a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yep, right here. I got a little bit on him, too.
Yeah. General Tom Thumb, he was one of Barnum's most famous acts. And he kind of was inspiring to the other freaks. God, I hate to keep saying that. It sounds terrible, but I mean,
to the other performers.
To the other performers, that's way better. Thank you. Oh my God,
you're welcome.
Keeping me in check with my I'm going to get canceled after this.
I know, right? Listen, it's going to happen. I'm sorry.
This
episode.
I really am trying. I say freaks with the utmost sincerity.
Yeah. It's like non-derogatory, even though there's no way to really say it non-derogatory.
The non-derogatory freaks. I'm sorry. But no, really, I mean, he really was an inspiration to all of them. Now, General Tom Thumb, he was a tiny man who allegedly at the age of 6 months old stopped growing. And we know a little bit later that he would end up growing a little bit more in his life, but when at his death at 45, he was only 3 foot 4 inches. So really, if you think about 3 foot, that's like one of my legs.
Exactly. So, I mean, that was a lot taller than I thought he was. Like, I think last thing I checked out, he was about 2 foot something. So he grew a whole extra foot. He
was in the 2 foots most of his life. So that was pretty normal. But he only grew so much. But here's the tragedy of General Tom Thumb. Is that he was found by Barnum when he was only 4 years old. And, at the time, obviously, he was very small. He was the size of a 6-month-old fucking baby.
Yeah.
I think maybe he grew an inch in that time, from that age on. But, still. But Barnum found him and essentially adopted him, himself and into, like, the show and trained him to perform. He was pretty much like his mentor. He trained him to do these, bizarre impersonations of things like Cupid or Napoleon Bonaparte was one, which, that's kind of hilarious.
I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of things attributed to Napoleon probably come from General Tom Thumb's impersonations. Now I think about it.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a fact. I based that entirely on just me thinking right now and no actual factual evidence. But I bet you if I look in, there's probably some bleed through in that.
I think you're probably right, honestly. But yeah, I mean, but like I said, I mean, honestly, that is kind of funny. I don't know why. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Barnum. You did a good job.
There you go.
Old Phineas. But he also taught him how to work a crowd and, get the crowd worked up into a frenzy and super excited about, what they were about to experience. I mean, really, he brainwashed this child and trained him like a puppy dog.
I have a quote here that pretty much sums it up. It says that he groomed him for life in the public eye, which I think is a pretty good way of saying it.
But on the flip side of that, he would end up being, again, one of the richest acts that he had. Barnum did pay him very handsomely. He didn't treat him badly in that regard. But again, the cursed genie thing. I mean, how much is your soul worth, you know?
Yeah, it's like how much is it worth for the abuse?
Yeah.
Like he keeps giving me he keeps treating me like shit, but he does give me a big paycheck. Like how much of this can I take?
Well, and one issue that just is across the board for all of these performers is that they would work extremely grueling hours.
Oh yeah,
with tons of travel schedules. So I mean, it could be months before they are back home again with their respective families, and then they're working, 12-hour days, multiple shows a day, with barely any breaks in between. So I mean, the working conditions are, akin to slave labor if the money wasn't so good. I mean,
how it sounds though, when they're going to have time to spend that money? It sounds like their hours like don't give them any free time.
Pretty much, and so, and then of course in the case of Charlie, with him, I mean, gosh, he was basically a full-blown adult by the age of 7. He was, drinking and, he was boozing and boobing and all the stuff. He had no childhood.
What better way to keep them complacent than to give them boozed up?
Absolutely. Which is horrible. Can you imagine?
Yeah, horrible. Yeah, for like a 7-year-old sitting there like, drink up, kid, or you're going to be on the show tomorrow.
And he's so tiny. Like, this kid took half a shot and was probably fucking blackout drunk.
They're like, shoot. Yeah. I'm kind of jealous, honestly, because it takes me a bit. That'd be a cheaper bill at the bar.
Right. I mean, my God, how much? What I gotta. And nobody ever answered that question for me. Like, how much did he drink, and what did it take to get him there? Because that would. I mean, I just think that's fascinating. Just saying.
Oh yeah, just sitting there, like, that is a really good question. Like, maybe that's why it was so cheap. Just sitting there, like, all I gotta do is buy him a beer, and he's boozed up and ready to go.
I mean, you're right. You might as well drink all the time because you can afford it for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, dealing with P.T. Barnum, I'll probably be drinking all the time too. So I totally get it.
That's fair. But no, he lived a really decent life. While he did die at the age of 45, that in the 1800s, that's not crazy, especially for somebody that had some type of ailments. I think they definitely thought he had some type of dwarfism, obviously. But for him, that was a decent long life.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. It's a pretty good run. Like, I'm pretty sure they probably thought he was going to die a lot sooner than that. So
yeah, absolutely. And one of the kicker I mentioned earlier is that P.T. Barnum had his American Museum, which was filled not just with the performers, but it's basically an oddities display. Oddities
like a museum of the weird.
Pretty much. And it's nice now because we live in a world where like there's an oddity shop 20 minutes from me, and that's cool. Like, I can go in it for free and check it out
everywhere.
But back then that was definitely not the case. And so he'd have collections of strange and unusual objects, and some of them of course he would create on his own. I think probably in this community the most well known is the Fiji mermaid.
Yep, the monkey's head and the back half of a fish.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite things ever. I love a good Fiji mermaid.
Good callback in House of a Thousand Corpses to that.
There is Fish Boy. Yep.
Yep, Fish Boy. There you go. The next evolution of the Fiji mermaids, Fish Boy.
That's pretty good. But these gaffs were kind of a big hit too. But again, most of them, I would say, were completely made up or taxidermied or whatever.
But people aren't going to ask questions. You're going in there to get entertained. They're going to sit there and pay money, look at the thing. Oh my God, I saw this thing that was super weird, and tell their friends, and then not think about it again.
Yeah. And so, but one person in particular I'll bring up here, one of the performers, they really enjoyed this type of stability. And, I think that once you hear his story, you'll kind of understand why. So George Constantinus, I think is how it's said. Constantinus. That's what we're going with. George. Or otherwise known as the Tattooed Man.
Oh, so that's interesting, because I have one of my performers is a tattooed woman.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about that. Yeah. I'll share George, and then you share the woman, because that is even rarer than the tattooed man.
Yeah, by all means.
So George, he was one of the ones who would live, again, a very lavish lifestyle. Let me tell you something. This man made $1,000 a week.
Jesus.
Now, listen, we're talking, this is like roughly the 1840s to the 1850s or 60s.
That is ridiculous.
Like, I barely make $1,000 a week now in 2025. Like, and I'm not living large.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and this guy's making $1,000 in the 1800s.
200 years ago.
Like, holy shit, how much is that? Like 15 thou? Like, goddamn.
It's up there. Yeah, it's big. So, I mean, he was really living it up. But he, he was covered head to toe completely, entirely in tattoos, except for, I believe it was the soles of his feet and some spots on his ears. So he had a story that, went along with it. Not only was it unusual for somebody to be completely covered in tattoos at that time, but, again, his story was just completely shocking. During his career as a pirate, him and a few other men were captured and held hostage. As punishment during their capture, they were tattooed on their entire body. George said that this whole process took about 3 months in total, and he would eventually escape and flee to the U.S. So something like a stable home, with the American Museum, I mean, that's super appealing to somebody like him who had been largely nomadic before that point. So yeah, I mean, his tattooing sessions, now people they question his story a lot, but that's what the man said happened. So who I mean,
it has to. A fantastic story helps sell the excitement.
It does.
If it was just I got tattoos, then it's kind of like, oh well, that's cool. But you say I was kidnapped by pirates and they tattooed me and gave me all this sick ink. It's actually kind of cool, actually. I had to pay anything.
Well, I believe his story, that was his story before he joined up with Barnum, when he was kind of doing his own thing. So, like, that was an original creation from him. But then people would kind of notice that. So every single tattoo, he said, did have its own story to it. And it's like, well, if it's not a punishment, like, why would they tattoo you and then tell you, like, oh, this means this, It seemed a little strange.
Arg, matey, that's punishment. Well, you are going to get tattoos. And this one is about that time I saw this mermaid, and this one's about that time I found this cool treasure. It's like like Clive Barker's Books of Blood about tattoos.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the fact that he remembered each one, damn, he has a good memory.
Each one of them. But, I'm not going to shit on the guy too much for being as filthy fucking rich as he was, and he was one of the richest men, again, next to General Tom Thumb.
Rich for just having tattoos.
For just having tattoos.
Crazy.
When he died, half of his fortune went to other performers that he knew of that were not being paid nearly as much as he was.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, so a very generous man. For the most part, he did like his expensive jewelry and stuff like that, but he was very generous with his fellow weirdos. So that is, I thought worthy of telling. And let me be clear about this: the people that were not making as much money as people like this were the people that were, I mean, I hate to say it, but worse off. The people with cognitive disabilities, the people of color weren't making as much as some of the other people were. You've got to understand they were definitely taking advantage where they could.
And like, they're not going to pay someone who's not white or something like that, like the same amount as they pay anybody else, so. Yeah,
absolutely not. Or, so again, somebody that's too disabled to understand that they are only getting the bare minimum,
Yeah, they're sitting there like, oh yeah, he's not going to know how much he's making. And it's kind of like, well, you should still pay him what he's worth. Like, come on.
Yeah. So, I mean, very, very predatory. So while we can say, oh my God, well, that one man was making $1,000 a week, so Barnum can't be that bad. Well, I mean, again,
there's like 15 other people that weren't making shit.
Evil genie.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was just based upon how many people went to go see you. Depends on how much you get paid and how much exposure you get.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people, everyone went to go see the tattooed man. No one went to go see the person with 2 fingers. So they only get the shit end of the deal or something like that. So
they only get $1 for each finger.
Exactly, which is still pretty decent for like the 1800s, I guess. I think that's like a normal day's work or something, but still kind of shitty.
It's still really
compared to everybody else.
He should be able to outfit his 2 rings and his 2 fingers.
Exactly.
Jeez. No, I definitely. So let's hear about your tattooed woman.
Okay, so a little bit of background for the tattooed ladies. Near the 1800s, when circuses and sideshows were all the rage, another brand of freak rose to prominence: tattooed ladies. As the name suggests, these performers were women who had a wide array of tattoos printed across their body, which was considered freakish at the time. Oh dear, they're covered in ink. How scandalous. So, according to The Inked Ladies, Tattooed Women of the Victorian Era by Lauren Kraut from the Daily Art Magazine website, practically all the cases were of the women's own volition, and they had manufactured backstories which often made to justify why they were tattooed. So most of the time they just got their own tattoos and then just made up bullshit stories about how they got them because people pay more for cool stories. And a lot of these included... a lot of these stories, and I quote, there was often a kind of victimhood, a life or death situation, like being a hostage of Native Americans. Toward the end of the 19th century, when conflicts with indigenous peoples were still fresh in the public psyche, it was an us versus them mentality that played on the audience's sympathy. So, end quote. So a lot of these stories that these women told involved a lot of like, hey, I was kidnapped and I was forced to have these tattoos, or I had to do this because of one thing or another, life or death. I'll die if I didn't get these tattoos done, to get some of that audience sympathy. Like, oh, you poor woman, how could this happen to you? I can't believe they did this to you. And that, got more money that way. And also there is eroticism to a lot of these shows with these women because since their whole deal is that they had to show off their tattoos, they dressed not as modestly as women at the time. They wore like short strappy dresses and had shorts that showed off their legs, and they showed off their upper chest and arms and all that. And that definitely gathered some crowds to see that because that was like an excuse to see ankles at the time. And another thing about them was that a lot of these women were perceived as independent because, and I quote from this article, tattoos implied the opposite of what society of any time period dictated: obedience, modesty, and chastity. Instead, the tattooed lady could be seen as a flouting conventional ideas, and that always includes sex. They're sitting there like, these women get all these tattoos, I bet you they put out. That's what all those men were thinking. That's like all they were thinking at the time. They're sitting there, they're like, I might get lucky because this girl has tattoos, I bet she's into the freaky stuff. And think of like a Victorian Englishman thinking that of like his monocle and fucking mustache.
I mean, people still think that.
Oh yeah, no. The more things change, the more they stay the same. There's still a bunch of that's still in the public zeitgeist, for better or worse.
Sure.
That British man is still to this day here. That lineage has not stopped. So one of the more popular tattooed women is Nora Hildenbrandt. As described from Nora Hildenbrandt's page on the Tattoo Archive website, this is the story that she normally told about her tattoos, because she was tattooed head from toe. She was a very, from what I've read, kind of a masculine-looking woman. Mm-hmm. She was of German descent, and she had like all these cool tattoos on her. She was like the really big, I think one of the really big early ones, the ones that actually gained prominence in the scene, because she was part of P.T. Barnum's show at the time. But a story she usually told was that she and her father, who was a tattoo artist, were kidnapped by Sitting Bull and his people, the Sitting Bull of history.
Oh gosh!
And they were about to be killed, but then Sitting Bull saw the tattoos on her dad. He was like, "That's some cool shit. I want you to tattoo my men." And the dad's like, "Sure, if you don't kill us, I'll tattoo your guys." And while he was doing it, one of them accused him of trying to poison them, and then, as punishment, Sitting Bull's like, hey, you have to tattoo your daughter now. I want her covered in tattoos. So they tied her to a tree, and for like 6 hours a day over the course of a year, he put 65 designs on her. And she was eventually rescued. I think he died because the Sitting Bull and his men got tired of him, or he broke his tattoo needle, and they got mad, so they burnt him alive because they really wanted that sick ink. And they're like, shit, well, if you're not going to give us the cool tattoos, we don't want you anymore. And then she was saved, and then she became part of P.T. Barnum's shows and was like, oh, yes, look at her. She survived the Indians, and she got all this sick ink.
So her story is like horribly drenched in racism.
Oh yeah, no, and that's a very common trend. A lot of these women just have they're like, oh, I was kidnapped by Native Americans, though they would use the appropriate language at the time, which I'm not going to use.
Sure.
And then they tattooed me, and it's like, wow, that's a weird punishment because that's some pretty cool tattoos you got. They're like, we're going to give you some tattoos and send you on your way. Like, okay, that'll teach you. I don't know.
You'll never forget.
Another story she told, though, that was only one. There's many. Here's the other one that I really saw a couple of times, was that her father was a tattoo artist in New York City who honed his skills by practicing on her, with her being his human canvas. So when he was doing tattoos, whenever he wanted to practice, he would just call her in and be like, give me a spot of you that I haven't tattooed yet. I want to try this new technique or try this new picture, and just tattooed on her, which also not great.
No.
That's also kind of fucked up. But of course, both these stories weren't true. According to the book, The Tattooed Lady by Amelia Clem Ostrode, I want to say her last name was. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I wasn't able to verify this, but I found it online. So take it with a grain of salt. I think it's probably in there. But Nora was actually a Londoner born in poverty in the 1850s. She met Martin Hildebrandt, who was often touted to be either her husband or her father, depending on who they were talking to, although they had no relation. And he was a tattoo artist and did all the work on her voluntarily. So she just got these tattoos from her boyfriend, basically, or whoever. And she just made up all this shit about, I was kidnapped by Native Americans, or my dad used to just take me to the tattoo chair on Saturdays and just tattoo on me or whatever. So, but so she was more the prominent one. She was pretty prominent until other tattooed ladies started popping up, and then she kind of lost her status as the tattooed lady.
Oh, okay.
Then the market came oversaturated, I think.
It was pretty.
All women at tattoos were like, "Hey, I can make money off this," and I'm like, "Yeah, why not? Fuck it."
Oh my gosh! So, I mean, the climate of things in, when it came to these freak shows, they definitely started shifting as early as the 1860s.
Mm-hmm.
Things known as what we call now, quote, ugly laws started popping up all over the place. So these were interesting because depending on the area, it could make it tougher or easier on the performers. For instance, in San Francisco, there was a law in 1867 that deemed it illegal for, quote, any person who is diseased, maimed, mutilated, or deformed in any way so as to be an unsightly or disgusting object to expose himself or herself to the public view. So basically, if you're ugly, stay the fuck inside.
Oh my God.
That's what they said.
We don't want you in here.
However, they made exceptions for, quote, freak shows. But this was because it was viewed as, people in the scientific communities could come along and potentially study these people for future gain. But of course, it was just probably these people were paying them off, right? Paying off big government in order to be able. But because you could only be outside if you were deformed, if you were performing, of course, this created, it worked the opposite way. It made a big boom in the exposure of these people because they weren't allowed to fucking go anywhere if they weren't putting on a show.
The only way I could be social is if I'm on the job.
Right. Because, I mean, again, just to reiterate, there were, and, you guys have to understand, there were no social programs at the time to financially support these people if they did not have family members that could take care of them. And I'm not even talking like parents, because their parents die before they do. I mean, like siblings, or God, somehow they have children, right? In their position, depending on, what their deal is. I mean, there really was no way for them to support themselves other than begging, and no way for them to be a part of society other than being a part of these shows.
Yeah, that's the only way they could make money and make a living, is because they had no other options.
Yeah. And so, so the battle kind of, raged on a bit. And as we kind of turn into the 1900s, society kind of started looking at this differently. They, like I said before, they kind of started feeling bad about exploiting these people. Scientific innovation was becoming a thing. And so as people were kind of understanding these people's ailments more and more, it kind of took the magic out of their story, right? It wasn't amazing. This wasn't a missing link. This was just somebody who was very, very sick. Which then people are like, well, shit, now I feel bad.
But they still didn't want to see them because when Freaks came out by
yes,
Browning back in the 30s, everyone got mad that there's freaks in the movie, and they're like, well, quote unquote freaks in the movie, and they're like, how dare you show this shit on the silver screen? Ban this man.
It's a family friendly theater. I wanted
Wait, how dare you show people?
Right. That's awful. No, I wanted to kind of touch on Freaks a little bit because it did have a massive impact then, and even still to this day. I would argue it has a bigger impact now as far as how we accept these kind of things. Absolutely. Todd Browning's Freaks released in 1932, and if you have not seen it, you fucking need to see it. Look, there's people...
Really good movie.
So good. There's people that are like, oh man, I hate black and white movies. They're just so cringy and stuff. No, listen, watch Freaks. Like, if you don't watch any of them, watch Freaks. It's really good. But basically... go ahead.
Oh, I was like, and the fact they actually use performers from sideshows and freak shows and that is just fantastic.
And they do, right. These people are, the cast is made up of people who were celebrity performers in their own right, who were actively living this lifestyle. I mean, really, you didn't have a lot of that. I mean, it's almost documentarian in a way, if it wasn't for the storyline, but the concept of the film, if you haven't seen it, it follows this circus. And it follows these trapeze artists that join the circus, and one of the they're a couple, and the woman of the couple and the man, they kind of have the scheme going on, and they intend on having her marry basically what was pretty much, I mean, let's be honest, General Tom Thumb, right? And
yeah, essentially, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was what it was supposed to be.
It was what was his name? Tiny Hans.
Yeah,
he's a little
Hans. His name was Hans in the movie. I don't know. Let me look it up real quick. Actually,
his name might be Hans. I mean, again, these are real performers. And
were they playing themselves in the movie?
I don't know. Maybe they weren't. They might not have been. But while you look it up, basically they have a plot for her to marry him, and then they were going to kill him for his money because he makes a ton of money and they do not, as simple, regular people, as trapeze artists.
His name was Harry Earls, part of the Doll family, which was a quartet of sibling entertainers with dwarfism from Germany.
Oh, okay. Well, it's even more interesting. Well, and that's the thing. This is the film that keeps on giving. You can go down the rabbit hole and see all the cast and who they were, and
you'll be lost in it for hours.
Yeah, and no, it's very good. Some of the again, they're all different performers. I think my favorite scene is the guy with no arms and legs, the black guy with no arms and legs, and yes, I love watching. He rolls up a cigarette and smokes it.
He is impressive.
It's amazing, but not that. It's when everything's kind of coming to a climax, and he's fucking crawling through on the ground with a fucking knife in his mouth.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm like, what's he going to do with that knife? I bet you it's going to be cool. Whatever it is.
So
he already proved that he was adept with a cigarette. I can only imagine what kind of tricks he has with that.
That's what I'm saying, right? And we don't get to see it. I mean, this is 1932, and so it's to us, it's not a graphic film, but at the time,
this is like pre-Hays Code, right? So it was considered obscene.
This was a disgusting film. I mean, for the time, people were absolutely appalled. It was banned in different countries from being shown. And this isn't even, what we have now is not even the full cut of the movie. This is after it has been edited to shit. Like, we will never be able to see, unfortunately, the original. But yeah, people were in a fucking uproar. And, one of the reasons is because, again, the culture at the time in the 1930s, it had definitely shifted for these groups. They weren't huge celebrities like they were in the 1840s. Now they are medical anomalies, and people just simply don't want to look at them. You know, this is when discrimination, you know, definitely became its peak. And the whole movie is sympathetic towards these people.
Oh yeah, they're not the monsters. They're not like, oh, look at this carnival of freaks going around and snatching people up and killing them and stuff. It's like, no, these are the victims in the movie. They're the ones that are being wronged. They're the heroes.
Yeah, and people at the time did not like that at all.
They're like, how dare they go after the blonde white girl?
Well, exactly. And then, you know, not even 10 years later, we have Germany over there fucking dipping the whole body into eugenics and shit. So, I mean, this was a tough time.
Yeah, no, that's a whole subject for a whole other podcast.
You know, so this was
getting there.
I mean, to show these people any type of sympathy at all was just absolutely grotesque. And then, of course, like I said, the scenes too. I mean, you would have to go on your own accord and go pay to see these people. Now, this is a film back in the day where you might have one choice of one film that you can watch as your family, and it's the only entertainment that you have, and now you're forced to sit and look at these people.
I mean, like, and it's funny because the other half of the stuff you can see is probably just porn. Like, because a lot of the old, like, early films and stuff like that, if it wasn't from, like, Hollywood and stuff like that, it's just, like, old, like, penny films you watched that are just porn. Go to the theater and go watch some fucking. Like,
that's less obscene than people with deformities.
Yeah, that's a gentlemanly thing to do.
You know, so it definitely made a big bang when it came out, and still does, you know, again to this day. It is very topical even still.
Oh yeah,
you know, it's a fantastic movie, and it aged gracefully.
Well, one thing that's interesting about it is that it's considered, like, let me go check on this article real quick, like, what do they call it? They call it a horror film. Yeah. Like a drama horror film. And I don't actually think it's a horror film. I think it's more of like a tragedy, like a thriller almost.
Yeah, I mean, or, you know, maybe even some type of mystery where you're in on the mystery.
Oh yeah, it's like a drama tragedy mystery almost, and it's like a noir even, like, you know, an early noir, because the only horrific aspect about it is like the end where all the performers go and give the bad guys their just desserts, and yeah, it's shot kind of like a horror film that way, but that's like the good thing that's happening. The heroes are getting the bad guys. Right,
it's a revenge film. It's a classic revenge film. And you know, you're rooting now as you watch it. You're rooting for, of course, the victims to take their revenge. You're not sad that the bad guys get their comeuppance.
And they're treated as people. They're a family in the movie. They're like loving each other. They care about each other. These are like the sympathetic people. The ones that aren't sympathetic or the quote unquote normal people that are taking advantage of them. So
yeah, I mean, just huge concepts for 1932.
Unheard of almost. Like, holy shit. So, I mean, I'm surprised Todd Brown wasn't burnt at the stake.
No, but really though,
what his career was.
You know, unfortunately, right? Yeah, it is very sad that it wasn't appreciated at the time. But you know, we can definitely still appreciate it now, especially because it is actually, you know, it's not public domain yet, almost.
Yeah, it's getting there. I think, yeah, so despite how much it didn't like it, they kept the copyright on it for a while. So someone thought it was like, no, wait 30 years. We're going to make some money off this.
Well, honestly, probably because they didn't want it seen. Let's be real.
Oh, yeah, that too. Put it in the salt mines.
Right. I mean, it tried to get buried, and then it just kind of got revitalized. Actually, within horror communities with people that were finding it.
Yeah, I believe it wasn't like one of the midnight movies from back in the day where like they showed it at like midnight.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah.
Yeah, they're sitting there like, oh, this is going to be kind of an odd, weird movie, and people saw it. I'm like, this is actually pretty damn good. Why have I heard about this? 1932, where's it been?
Exactly. You know, so do your due diligence and go seek it out and check it out. I think you probably find it on YouTube for free. Let's be real.
Well, you know what? I'll go ahead and check it out right now and tell you where to find it.
Tell you exactly where to find Freaks.
I'll do a solid.
It's very good.
Yep, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Google. You can rent it from many of those places. Is it on Tubi, though?
It might not be on Tubi.
It might not. Nope, it's not available on Tubi. But you can rent it from any of like streaming service. They all have it now. Unlike the 1930s, we can watch it anywhere you fucking want.
Right. I mean, you know, and honestly, if you're somebody who doesn't like black and white movies and you watch this, immediately come tell me what you thought, because it's amazing.
Also, if you don't like black and white movies, you're boring. I'm sorry.
There's so many of them that are just genuinely so good.
I'm sitting there. I'm just alienating a whole part of the audience right now.
Fuck you, man. I mean, I get it. I used to be that person. I was very young when I was that person, but
I mean, I grew up on black and white movies, so you can actually go on the Internet Archive and watch it for free if you so choose.
Love the Internet Archive.
Yeah, so there you go. Go check out the Internet Archive, and you don't have to pay anything. You just watch it and see a part of history.
I'll post it to the Patreon, patreon.com/WednesdaysTalk. I'll post the link right to it for you guys to go watch. So you can pay me money if you feel really terrible about it.
Exactly.
And then click on the link. I'll do the heavy lifting for you.
See, look. Asher's is looking out for you.
I care about you guys, and I want you to watch good movies.
Exactly. Most of us, it has to reach a quota of everybody watching it, so we all know it's good.
So, looking into the future, of course, this really it damaged. I mean, whatever was left of like the freak show community, freaks completely destroyed it. Let's go for real. It did. Everybody was like, "This has got to fucking stop." And then, like I said, the introduction of things like, eugenics and World War II, because it wasn't. Listen, y'all, and that's an episode I'm going to cover soon. It wasn't just Germany practicing that shit.
It was us.
Well, it was us that hired all of their people after the war, but Japan, everybody thinks the Nazis were so bad. You guys fucking don't have a clue. You haven't seen that.
What was that one movie about the Japanese camps where they just tortured people and tested like...
Actually, they're getting ready to come out with a new one. It's called Unit 731, which is based off of the Japanese Unit 731, where they did human experiments on people.
They got creative.
So excited. Oh, man, so creative. So excited to watch the movie. But if you guys are interested, they do have Men Behind the Sun.
That's the one I was thinking of, Men Behind the Sun.
Men Behind the Sun it's one of those hardcore extreme movies. Don't watch it unless you can handle it. But I think you watch it at least once, because you have to understand the gravity of what was going on. And then another one, if you can sit through it, I personally enjoy it, is Philosophy of a Knife.
I've been waiting to watch that one, but I haven't checked it out yet.
4.5 hours long. It is
fantastic.
Half documentary. And it does come in 2 parts if you buy the DVD, which good luck buying the DVD. It's like $100.
You'll have to really want it.
But come over to my house. I have it. I didn't pay $100 for it. I'll tell you that. We'll check it out together. But it's half documentary, half reenactment. So and then also so a quarter documentary, a quarter reenactment, and a quarter of just shots of it snowing outside in black and white.
Oh man, terrifying.
So if you love that, that's in there. But it really is. It is genuinely good. I showed it one time at one of my Halloween parties. It's fucking shocking. It's got some of the sickest shit you'll ever see. But the documentary parts of it, I mean, the fact of the matter is that these reenactments are based off of real human experience that they were doing at that time. And so if you are disgusted by what you're seeing on screen, well, you're supposed to be, because it's fucking horrible. But anyway, I want to cover that on its own episode one day, because it blows my goddamn mind that nobody ever talks about it.
People want to forget about it. People don't want to bring it up.
But they love talking about the Nazis. Like I said, they're like glorifying them. Like, oh man, they were so hard.
Yeah, but it probably has something to the fact that we nuked Japan. We probably feel like, we don't have room to talk.
Give them a little leeway.
We were sitting there like, we did kind of take out 2 of your cities.
Oops, sorry.
Maybe if you don't talk about our transgressions, we won't talk about your transgressions.
Well, we actually did hire the Japanese scientists instead.
Oh, I'm sure we hired everybody because we didn't want Russia to have them.
They got absolutely right. They got off completely scot-free. We said, come work for us, and they did.
Operation Paperclip, whatever it was called.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole nother. Anyway, another slate for another day. But just to give you a little tease, there you go
for future episodes.
But anyway, so again, this kind of, people were just like, this has got to fucking stop. We're not doing this anymore. And slowly but surely, these communities were kind of weaned away. Well, while that happens, while the performers now had no means of making an income, something good did come of it, and that ended up being Social Security.
Oh, really?
Absolutely, it was. I mean, you had all these people now that could not support themselves.
That's right.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It wasn't the only, the only thing getting into it, but like women working during the war and stuff like that, they also couldn't really have jobs, right? But they they had to. Just a lot of people struggling at the same time definitely contributed
the
to it.
factors that added into that, which is great.
Right.
That's like the best thing to come out of it.
Exactly. And while we do definitely need some reform in that regard, I mean, my God, you guys, I don't think you understand. Some people living on Social Security right now make like $900 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a long way to go. It's still better than what it was before.
$0
we had Social Security. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have some money than no money, but I would rather have enough money to
live. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
That would be cool.
What a quaint idea.
Super interesting. But now the freak show is kind of comes back a little bit, but not in the way that you guys would expect nowadays. Nowadays, it's more so sideshow acts where people are doing things, which were things that were popular at the time, but not nearly as exploitative as the people with deformity. So it's not so much come see the little man. It's more, fire breathers, sword swallowers.
Yeah. People with unusual skills.
Contortionists.
Or like magicians or illusionist shows, like the Girl the Gorilla acts, where they use like trickery to make a girl turn into a gorilla or something like that. So just a lot of fun things now. It's kind of like, just a cool thing to go see people showcase talents they have that you don't normally see every day. Like you said, fire eaters, sword swallowers, trapeze artists, all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. And sometimes they, take a little bit further. Like I love when contortionists go on to like be featured in movies and stuff as like stunt people or monsters or whatever, because they can do amazing things with their body that you physically nobody else can do.
Like they can fit into a box or something and unravel out, and it's like,
right,
it's a monster.
It's very unsettling to us, and it works in those spaces. Or they become dancers that can do like just crazy. Here's my oh my gosh, one of my guilty pleasures, you guys. Me and my daughter, we have a thing that we do. We watch religiously America's Got Talent.
Oh,
man.
That is a guilty pleasure.
We get so into it, too. It is it's all fucking scripted, but genuinely the people on there, like, they are people. And you can follow, and I have followed people from the show. That it's never anybody that I want to win. But they do have like modern day sideshow people on there. And so I think that's super neat. I'm here for those kinds of performances because I just think they're really interesting, and I would pay to go see them.
I know a big one nowadays too are the body modifiers, like the ones that like put hooks into their bodies and stuff like that. That's a big one.
That's a big one. Like basically pain tolerances. And then of course, like we all know, like the Lizard Man, right? He's
and the cat guy too.
The cat guy, right? We know people that are they're definitely messing with their physical bodies surgically or what have you in order to become something else. Which I think I wouldn't do it. And they do.
I think it's cool as hell, though. Like I wouldn't do it, but it's cool as hell.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I just think it's cool to have that kind of passion about something. Like, good for you.
I hope I have like passion like that one day for something.
Right, for anything.
Yeah, like even if it's like just getting out of bed in the morning. God damn.
Yeah, I mean, so so we've definitely, like I said, come a long way because it's not so much, people with deformities and things like that. I will tell you, we had. This might get me canceled. But we had a set of conjoined twins locally, and they died. But people knew who they were. Like, they were, again, just still local celebrities in their right. Not because that they were performing or anything like that, but because they're fucking two people that are combined together walking around. I mean, that's fascinating. I mean,
you don't see it every day. It's kind of like, you always hear about it, people rarely get to see it, so it's something interesting.
Super interesting, human curiosity. And of course, when they die, I mean, that's even, when these conjoined twins, because they're still conjoined twins to this day, when they die, we're like, well, like, what happened? Like, because one dies and then what? The other one has to die? Or, like, what does that look like? Do they have to just live with their deceased buddy until they die? Anyway, so that was a whole thing that I followed. That was during the pandemic. They had passed, and I actually I really wanted to go to their funeral. And I know that's weird. I know that seems so fucking weird, but like, I don't know. Also, is it weird? I didn't go. But when the fuck else in my life am I ever going to be able to go to a funeral of a conjoined twin?
I feel like people go to people's funerals without knowing them all the time. Like,
Right.
Especially if they're like a celebrity or something, a bunch of people will go and pay respects. Not that they ever met the person, but because they respected the person.
Well, and it was a public thing. I mean, it was very public, right? They were like, "Oh, come on up to the funeral," and I was like, "Oh, okay, open invite." I mean,
they weren't like selling tickets, right? This wasn't like a P.D. Barnum like, come see the corpse of the conjoined twins, $5 a pop.
But you know what?
Come all.
I kind of wouldn't even be mad if they did. I'd be like, I get it. Someone's got to pay for it.
Only if the guy is dressed up like an 1800 showman. Yes, if you're going to commit, you better commit. I want like the megaphone. I want you to be standing on a chair. I want you to like just put your heart and soul into it, or else I'm not going to give you. Else I'm just like no, not enough. You're only half-assing it. You got to go all the way.
I mean, because like, listen, if I had some really super cool ailment, I'm type 1 diabetic. Is that interesting to you guys? You want to come?
It would be back in the 1800s.
Want to come see me shoot up my insulin or check my blood sugar? If I had something like that, I'm a like go big or go home person, so I would fucking. You better make a spectacle out of my fucking funeral. Like, I'd be so upset if you didn't.
I mean, nowadays you can probably do like if you have something like that, you could probably do it yourself on like TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff. You can become your own personal manager for all those kind of things.
You absolutely could. And at that point, like, is it exploitation? Which is to say, like, in some of these situations, with like the tattooed man making $1,000 a week, is that really exploitation? I mean, he's obviously there. He's obviously getting a benefit. In his case, maybe not so much because, I mean, obviously there's some choice there, or at least probably there was some choice there and the story was made up.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure he just got some tattoos and was like, it'd be a lot cooler if I said Pirates did it. So he lucked out. He had a passion and he lucked out that it made a bunch of money.
Right, but like, did General Tom Thumb, did he feel like he was being exploited? I guess that comes down to like personal preference, because we can't speak for him and say he was if he didn't feel like he was.
Like it's just right now it's a matter of perspective. I guess it depends on one. I think it's case by case. I don't think we can say a blanket term for all of them. Like, oh yeah, they're all exploited or they all weren't exploited. It's like depending on who the person is, depends on how much they were exploited or how much of it was exploitation. I feel. Yeah. So we have to go through each one by one.
We can. I think that like we have a duty to speak for people that don't have a voice. Like obviously the mentally impaired individuals in this side. I mean, someone has to advocate for them. However, the people with the voice, I mean, I think we do a lot to kind of overstep those boundaries and speak up too much for them. We have to be careful to make sure, because when you do that to somebody, like, you are also kind of infantilizing them as a person. Like they
speaking for them when they don't ask, or if you don't even ask what their opinion about it is, you can just go ahead and speak for them, is kind of just as bad, depending on what it is.
Right, because you're basically saying, "Oh, well, your feelings still don't matter, and I'm going to make that decision for you." And it's like,
you can't talk for yourself. Let me talk for you. It's like, what the fuck?
Like, yeah, that doesn't. Y'all got to check yourself a little bit with that, because I do see people that are just a little too heavy on it.
Just ask them, hey, do you mind if I advocate for you?
Like, I know it comes from a good place, but
yeah. Or something like that. Sit there and be like, hey, before I go on my soapbox, do you mind if I go on my soapbox?
Yeah. I mean, so, there's, like I said, there's definitely bad parts to it, but there's definitely good parts to it as well. I mean, again, some of these people, they would have never, ever lived the lifestyles they lived without something like this. So
it's that gray area. Nothing's black and white. There's always a little bit like, oh, it bleed through. It's all gray. It's nothing in this. Like in this case, it's like good and bad at the same time, existing parallel to each other, depending on what aspects you focus on.
Right, and I'm just a woman living in 2025, privileged America, right, with a roof over my head and food in my belly, and I can't speak for these people and their plights.
Doing a podcast talking about these people,
right? It's not any type of authority to tell you guys how you should think, feel, or whatever about these folks, but I do heavily implore you to learn about them. I mean, if you thought that this episode was interesting, go out of your way. Again, there's hundreds of these people that you can find and their stories, and not just their made up stories. I mean, by now, we've done a lot of work in learning about them. I didn't talk about like the Elephant Man he was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
But I really didn't know how to feel about that one.
Yeah, there's a movie about that one you guys can go check out and research after that. Like, basically, I hope that this episode will interest you enough to go do your own research and make your own conclusions about all this. We can't tell you how to think.
No, that's not our job here. But I do think that it's a neat topic to talk about. I think it's super interesting. And
go learn something I don't know about and tell me about it, so I can learn something.
Go watch
Freaks. Be my teacher.
Watch Freaks and tell me what you thought, because I know you're going to love it.
Yeah, no, you're going to think it's the best movie ever.
And if you
guaranteed. Asher says that you are going to guarantee to love this movie for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life, you're going to be like, holy shit, I should have watched this sooner. What was I thinking?
Mm-hmm. You're going to regret for the rest of your life that you didn't watch it sooner and probably spiral into a depression. You're going to be like, oh man, what have I been doing with my life? And you know what? Whose fault is that?
On your
not ours.
Right. On your deathbed, you're going to be like, do you have any final words? And you're going to be like, I wish I watched Freaks sooner.
Yeah, I wish I watched it back when I was younger. They're gonna be like, that's a weird last word, but all right, write it down.
Did you just say Freaks?
Freaks? The 2018 movie?
Like
you gotta be sure to add 1932 after that, so they don't get confused.
Very good point. Well, I just learned about this other movie, Freaked, and I'm so excited to watch it.
No, you're gonna love it. I feel like you're gonna love it. In fact, I can't. You tell whenever you watch it. Tell me so you can tell me what you think about it, because I think it's gonna be right up your alley.
I can't wait. I'm super excited. Which reminded me, I want to kind of make another point. Like I said, a lot of these people, they are kind of going away a little bit, but there is still a small group of individuals that do still partake in the performance. One of which I invited to come on the podcast. Yep. And I kind of learned a lot about these people from watching the show. There was a reality show about it. It was about the Venice Beach Freak Show. I think that's what it's called. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. Check that show out. It's super interesting. Yeah, it's a reality TV show, but it's about freak shows and their stories as people. But I learned on that episode that they located a bearded woman. And we're super excited to get her involved because they, again, they're located on Venice Beach. So again, they have that home base. They're not really traveling and stuff. And they wanted to get her to join the crew. And what the guy was saying, I can't remember his name. It's been years since I've watched it. Probably when it came out. But, one thing that he was saying was that she was the only bearded woman in the entire world. And what he means by that when he says that, there's plenty of women that have beards, and we're slowly normalizing that, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about, trans people, guys. I'm not making a bad trans joke. I'm saying that there are women that can grow full beards.
Oh, yeah.
For various medical reasons or what have you. But most of those women...
Humans have hair. Who would have guessed?
Exactly. But most of those women don't grow full-on beards. They get rid of them because of the stigma. So when he says this is the only bearded woman in the entire world, I fact-checked that when I started this podcast because I just randomly thought about it one day. And he's fucking right. No other woman on the entire planet, except for this one woman, is the bearded woman and is out there performing as a bearded woman.
Huh.
So I was like, well, that's really interesting, and that makes sense. So, in her whole campaign, it's fucking beautiful because she's very feminine. She's very much about, women empowerment and women kind of taking back their power and things. And I think that's wonderful. Obviously, as a fellow woman, and I'm like, listen, I'd love to, I message her, I find her on Instagram, I message her. I'm like, I would love to have you on the podcast. It's super easy. You don't have to go anywhere. You just do it at home. We just talk for a couple hours and that's it. This bitch hit me with a fucking price list.
She's like, how much of my time do you want? How much can you afford?
And let me be so for real with you guys. I can't even be mad because, listen, she literally is the only one on the entire fucking planet. So you know what? Good for her and her hustle. But it was it's more than this podcast makes in a month. I was like, nah.
Never mind. Nice thought. But again, I do appreciate people knowing what they're worth and actually like putting that out there.
Exactly.
So I'm glad. Yeah. I am super glad that she's like, hey, I'm going to have people pay me for my time because They should. I really should. You know.
I don't do that enough. Like, I completely get like where she like I respect the shit out of her for it. But I was taken aback. I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
But at the same time, you're like, well, okay, maybe not then. Like, listen, I respect it. Doesn't mean I'm going to pay it because well, like again, that's more than this podcast makes.
I mean, my goal, ultimately is to make enough money to afford to have the bearded woman on the show. And
that's going to be like the big special episode once we do it. Like, hey guys, we did it. Here it is, the penultimate episode.
So, I mean, you guys need to support that. So obviously you need to be sharing this show with every single person that you know, right? Because you want to hear the bearded woman on it. You need to be, like I said, letting everybody know, where to find us. You need to be going subscribing to the Patreon, giving your funds there because we got to get this woman on.
That's our goal. That's our main goal right now is to get the bearded woman on here.
She could be the last one ever, when she dies. I mean, there may not be one that takes her place.
So it's imperative, like, non-negotiable. We have to have her on here.
We have to have her on here because even if another one comes along,
it's not the same.
Even if they do, they're still within their right to charge the price that they do because again, there's not that many. If there are more, I mean, there just isn't. But yeah,
they should.
Super interesting. So I don't know. Check that show out. It might have had some issues eventually come out. I think it did get canceled. So I don't know what that whole backstory was.
Well. That leads to a little bit of thing. I have a little bit of like a little blurb right here about the continuation of the quote-unquote freak show. And the television had picked up the slack of exploitation with their reality shows that showcase oddities. Like, for example, My 600-Pound Life, Little People, Big World. Yeah. Please believe it or not, that's pretty much the modern-day quote-unquote freak show because they're just showing off all these, interesting and different people and pretty much exploiting them in a lot of cases, especially if, like, My Strange Addiction, stuff like that. So, again, the more things change, the more they kind of stay the same.
Oh, man, such a good point. I didn't even think to tie that into any of it, but you're absolutely correct. And, we just eat that shit up because we're curious. Yeah, we're curious little creatures, and we want to know.
I want to learn about the person that eats couches and stuff like that. And it is like, their show. And there might as well be a showman there like, come here and see the couch eater. Come see the man who's in love with his car and stuff like that. And it's like, it's the same shit.
Well, and so I watch a guy on YouTube who watches My 600-Pound Life. So he used to be a 600-pounder. Mm-hmm. And then he got the weight loss surgery and he's been losing weight. And during that journey, he's been watching and reacting to My 600-Pound Life. And I have found out some super interesting like facts about the show, like from him, like how they film the camera angle. Like they will purposefully put these people in too small of chairs.
Oh my God.
And then put the camera at like his crotch level to make them look bigger.
So they're trying to get the most unflattering angle.
Right. And then like, so a lot of the episodes, like you'll notice if you ever watch it, when they do them, they will usually like, it'll go through a day in their life. They wake up, they take a shower, they eat or whatever. The shower scene, they get paid more money to do a shower scene on the show. Like they pay them extra for that shot. God. So right, and
that's icky.
It's horrible, right? And
that's just like, oh my God. So
you're gonna do it because they're exploitive, right? They can't work, so of course they're gonna say yes, and then it's out there for millions to see, and it's like, oh my God.
It's like, and they're not getting paid enough to do it anyway.
They're not.
Like you said, and they're like, so like they're getting just the money that's being offered to them, and it's like not worth the time they're putting in because. No. The producers know they can get away with it, unfortunately.
No, and I don't think that they do pay them for the time on the show, but I believe like they don't pay for like the surgery and stuff. That's so
much bullshit,
right?
And I bet you they don't pay them royalties either. I bet you like whenever it gets syndicated, they don't get any money from it. They probably just do a one-time deal.
They do a one-time deal. It's probably like $5,000, and they're like, "Oh, that's nice," and then they take it, but then they have to do a $20,000 surgery, a fucking $10,000 move all the way to a different state. They don't expect those things, but then of course, you're getting your life back. It's your freedom. It's empowering to you. And
meanwhile, the producers are making like fucking thousands upon thousands of dollars from this shit.
Right. And they're people, and you listen to their stories, they share their stories, and they're fucking horrible. I mean, these people have been, there's a reason why they are where they are in life. It's because they have been through some of the worst shit you could even imagine. But TLC will certainly catch them binge eating after their surgery and then throwing it all up afterwards because
look at them. They can't change at all. Look at this shit. And I'm like, you're the fuckers that probably put the food in the room in the first place, assholes.
Yeah. No, it's really terrible. That was Netflix did that documentary about The Biggest Loser recently. That was pretty good. Check that out. Little documentary.
Yeah, no, I have to check that out. I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it just came out not that long ago, and it was The Biggest Loser is a weight loss competition that they had on TV, and you know they talk about fucking the terrible shit they were doing to these people, and yeah, I mean that's pretty. I mean, you're right. It's right in line. It's a modern day freak show. That's what it is.
Yep, just in there, let's get all the weirdest people that we can exploit, and people that don't fit the mold of what people think normalcy is, and exploit them, and have people laugh at them, and have people like talk about them and stuff. And it's sad, and and people don't realize how fucked up it is. I think when they do it initially, because I used to watch this shit as a kid and stuff, and you're just kind of like, oh yeah, no, show stuff, and then it's not till you realize later after the damage has been done, they're like, oh man, that wasn't good. That was a bad thing that happened.
Really terrible. And I mean, it's good when like, you know, they do well or they get better or whatever and you cheer for them. But like the thing is like you don't even realize the harm that you're contributing to it by taking in that type of media. You know?
And even if they do better, that's on TV now. That is the part they're never going to escape that part of their life because it's going to be rerun or put on clips on YouTube and stuff like that. They're always going to come back to it. No matter how far along you are, people are going to go back and watch that and be like, hey, look at you when you're like this. And it's like, you can't escape it.
Right. That's you now forever.
That's how people are going to remember you, no matter what you do to yourself. And that's fucked up.
It is. It's terrible, you know, because they rarely do. I mean, they'll do like a follow up here and there and with just different shows, you know, about these people. But like those aren't nearly as popular. And there's a reason for it because people come for the fascination. You know, they don't care about the success story. They want the drama. They want
the failure. That's what people want to see. They want to see people fail. Like it's cool when people succeed, but it's most people want to see people like the struggles. They want to see how hard it is to do shit, and they don't really care about the end result. They want to see the journey, like the horrible journey that gets to that point.
Yeah. But like I said, I think that when we do consume that kind of content, we don't realize the negative aspects that we're applying to it. Because you might say like, oh, well, like I watch Hoarders to get myself motivated to clean my house, or, you know, I watch My 600-Pound Life to be able to, you know, lose weight or whatever, to motivate me. It makes me want to be a better person. And it's like, but then look at that. What you're automatically doing is looking at those people and going, yeah, I'm better than them.
Oh, yeah, they're judging them and being like, oh, I don't want to be like them. I want to be better than them. Right. And it's like, they're people too. They're also like, they're going through their own shit. Like, usually there's a reason why they're going through this shit, and people don't normally think about that. And you're right. And it's so ingrained to our society, these type of shows, because we've been growing up with them, that we don't even realize how fucked up they are, because that's just been how it is. Reality TV has been a very popular thing since I was a kid. Back in like the 90s and stuff. So it's like, you know, I grew up with it. You don't realize how fucked up it is. You're sitting there, it's just another form of entertainment on TV.
Right. All my show's on.
You're sitting there, I'm like, oh, hey. Was it like 16 and pregnant, wherever the fuck it is, or whatever the hell's on there? Like,
yeah. I mean, it is. Yeah, it is literally a shit show. But no, I think that's a fantastic point. And I hope people kind of, you know, take away. But again, I think it's great when these people own it on their own, when they are in control of the situation, what people see, what they allow, you know, having boundaries, like the bearded woman, you know, she knows what it is, but she's in control of it, you know.
Exactly. When they have their own agency, it's nice. When they're doing it themselves and not being an object for someone else's paycheck.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. So, I mean, it can be a good thing while also satiating our curiosity, you know?
Oh, yeah.
We can have both, you guys. We can.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you just got to do it a good way. Like, you have to do it a good way that doesn't harm too many people or any people at all, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
We can do it. We can definitely do it. There's a quote unquote, well, for lack of a better word, right way to do this. And we just have to, You just have to figure out what it is.
Well, with that being said, do you have any other final thoughts you'd like to share about tonight's topic?
Well, there is one little thing. I actually found a movie I want to recommend to people, and I was thinking if I'm ever back on here, I'll give a little review about it. So I'm giving some people some homework if they don't mind.
Okay.
But so it's based on a theme of tonight, which is circus sideshow, and it's a movie called Howling 6: The Freaks.
Oh.
And the synopsis is a villainous carnival owner traps a young werewolf to include in his growing menagerie of inhuman exhibits. So it's the 6th entry in the Howling series. I bet you some people didn't know there were 6 entries. There's actually 7 entries.
Oh, wow.
No, 8. My bad. 8 entries.
Oh, wow.
So, but it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm going to check it out. And if I'm on the show again, if Ashley does not mind me being here, I will go ahead and give a little review on that next time. A little small blurb.
Exciting. Oh, wow.
And if you go watch it, guys, please leave a comment or email me or email itsasherz or anyone and tell me what you thought about it so we can have that going on.
I think that sounds super. Or share it in the. Are you in the? Julian, I think you are in the Facebook group. Share it in the Facebook group.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, for sure. I'll do that.
Come check out the On Wednesdays We Talk Weird Facebook group. That's where all the hot discussions take place. Go. I might start off a freaks thread in there. Who knows?
Little fun thing.
Little fun things that we.
I want to hear. I want to hear what everyone else has to say on this topic.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Again, I want to thank you so much for coming on and joining me. And
thank you for having me. It was a blast.
Doing a super fun topic. Maybe we'll see you again.
Yeah, for sure. Whenever you want me here, I'll be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will. Is there anything specifically that you want to shout out for people, for them to follow, where to find you?
Other than David Hartman's Monster Drive-In Isle of Evil, Knife, the Texas Trauma Tour, just if you want to see some cool indie stuff or get like some events and interviews and just movies and projects coming up, go check out my website, giallojulian.com. A lot of stuff on there, and I'm always putting more stuff on it. So, yeah.
Perfect. I will. And like I said, share that for everybody so you can check out Julian at your leisure.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, with that being said, guys, we'll see you back here next Wednesday.